Hello again, guys. It is Free 700. We are back with some Kingdom Under Fire lore. This time, what the fuck is Arien? Now, Arien is the seat of Velon's power, but it wasn't always that way. In fact, it used to be human-made. Now, interestingly enough, before Velon took it over, it was actually a kingdom, an own independent kingdom of human and elves. It was ruled by elven nobility, but the backbone of it was human. It was a very interesting society indeed. It's the only one that we've seen so far where humans and elves together built something. Now, Arien is directly in between Velond, Hexter, and humanity. So it is a lot more akin to say it's a Constantinople, an Istanbul, if you would, where it is just right there, smack dab in the middle, fighting the West versus the East. It is there, the centerpiece, keeping it from spilling over into the West, where humanity lies. So, for the human nations, it's actually very important that Arien does not fall. This is very, very important. For if Arien falls, their territory is now in danger again. Sure, Hexter is, by itself, and all the orc tribes can still fuck with humanity, but that's the thing, they're orc tribes. Orc tribes are not organized enough to amass a giant, full-on invasion force to threaten the human kingdoms. No, instead these orc tribes, they could easily be dealt with. In fact, at one point, the Jurai tribe almost got wiped out entirely by Hronodin. And Hronodin just simply came onto the damn place and just damn near torched it. So the fact that one of the 30 tribes just nearly got annihilated, it shows you just how important Arien is. Because if Arien is held, the orcs are under threat, and Velond needs political issues. Because you see, Velond right now is in a very delicate balance where the Dark Elves are starting to become more numerous and more powerful in the Velon nation. This is a threat to the vampire's power. King Valdemar, after all, did just establish this empire, so he doesn't want to lose his empire because the Dark Elves start rebelling against their masters. So to target Arien is genius from a political standpoint, as it gears all the Dark Elves to fight their most hated enemy, the regular elves. As the elves are just vile, disgusting things to the Dark Elves. Dark Elves love to fuck with the elves. Ever since Kingdom Under Fire Warrior Heroes, they love to fuck with them. So here's an elf nation with a king and queen and a few other elven nobility snobs who just downright need to get their asses kicked. Oh yeah, the Dark Elves will definitely aid King Valdemar in taking this city over. Now, it's not specified how long Arien was under siege, but judging by just how tattered and fucking destroyed the walls are, it had to be about a year or more of just constant attacks, constant sieges. Break the siege, then get sieged again. Break the siege, then get sieged again. It is just not a pretty picture. Hronodin spent most of its forces just defending the damn place for almost 5 years. So, Hronodin definitely put in a lot of effort. But Ecclesia, interestingly enough, Ecclesia wanted ownership of it, because if they could hold that territory, not only does it give them political power over Hronodin and a few other nations, but by holding it, they can use it as a base to further push the orcs out of the holy ground. Of course, Ecclesia wasn't really helping them out of the niceties of it, out of the need to do it, because Ecclesia is the safest human nation. They're the farthest west. So after Arien falls, they just need to make sure Hronodin and Azilla doesn't fall. Besides that, they're fine. They're doing great. So that's why they don't really care too much about Arien. Now, after Arien falls, it is very clear that it becomes the new seat of power for the Velond Empire, the Dark Legion, as they grow. And by this point, Hexter becomes its own nation instead of just 30 tribes. So Arien was that valuable, because once it fell, Dark Legion were united again. And once they were united, humanity was in a lot more dangerous situation. They were more eager to keep the peace than ever before. But aside from that, let's start talking about speculation. What can we gather from Arien's history, what it used to be? Well, it used to be a very magical place, judging by all the elves and judging by some of the rumors and gossip that's been going around. Like, it's rumored that the former Queen Snowstone was actually kicked out of the matriarchy because of the fact that she betrayed her own people by using her powerful magic to summon a meteor and bring down a castle that was floating in the sky. That is pretty interesting. So it shows that the elves had severe political issues. The elves, of course, were not as innocent as anyone else. See, that's why I like Kingdom Under Fire. Every race is bad. And here we get this a lot from Ellen's campaign, where Ellen is more or less derogatorily remarked by other elves because she's half human, half elf. And she even talks about how her mother and her had to flee Arien because their home was burned down. They're being chased off by the elves. It's not speculated exactly why, but it's heavily hinted it's due to her birth, her birthright. Just being half human and half elf, disgusting, vile, puke, kill these people. So the situation in Arien was never a good situation. The elves were very prejudiced, and being in a human/elven society, they heavily hated mixing. They really did not like mixing the two races. So anytime someone mixed, they exterminated them or drove them out. Now, Snowstone seems to be a little bit more at ease with Ellen, seems to be a lot more chill around Ellen. So it shows that she may have brought down that castle because she was getting sick and tired of the way the elves were so prejudicial. Or she could just brought down the castle because she went insane. Who knows? All we know is that Snowstone as a queen and as an elf, she's actually a very stable person. So her going insane, I highly doubt. But she does have a lot of support by the elves who are now suffering under their terrible, terrible king, who is just totally inadequate. He just leaves parts of the wall completely overrun with the orcs. He leaves sections of walls completely ruined, won't even rebuild them. And all he can do is just talk about things over nice dinners. It's like, dude, are you serious? Do you not understand your kingdom is about to fall like any fucking day? Like, he says he understands that the kingdom's about to fall, but he's not acting like it. He's not taking any measures. He's not taking any magical acts like rituals and stuff. He's not even trying to evacuate his people. He's just simply sitting at the castle, lamenting that, oh, there's nothing we can do. Let me just eat this fine dinner and just wait for the Dark Legion to just overtake my ass. And this is why, again, I would say Snowstone may have a bit of a temperament. She may be quick to piss off, which is exactly why the moment that Ellen brings Snowstone back to Arien, they immediately put her as monarch. Immediately put her ass as matriarch. They don't care that she destroyed one of their own magical castles. They don't care. They're like, we need a bitch who's got a temper and has powerful magics now. So they put her ass in charge of Arien. Of course, doesn't matter because Arien gets overrun. And of course, humanity had to retake Arien back. But when they retook it, it immediately got retaken back again, this time by Rainier the Immortal. And after that, it stayed under Velon's rule for 5 whole years. 5 whole years, humanity just kept the peace, didn't want to fuck with the Dark Legion, didn't want to poke the bear any more than they had to. 1, Rainier is immortal. He single-handedly took Arien back for the Dark Legion. And 2, the orcs are a nation now. So now they're fighting 2 nations instead of 1 nation that has a little bit of support from the orcs. But the orcs are so divided, they're easy to sweep aside. So, besides that, that has been the political situation, the history lesson, and overall just the mess that Arien was. It's a mess in the lore video. Like, I'm bouncing all over these subjects, but that's because Arien has so much crap going on with it. It was truly a fuckfest. It was a mess. It was just downright fuck everything. That's why I like Arien so much. Not only is it an awesome city, but it's also got really interesting political situations that had developed. It's got very interesting situations that had occurred. It's got a very important historical value and very important value empirically. The entire empires of the world were keeping their eyes on Arien. They were all fighting to make sure Arien did not fall. And the moment Arien fell, what did humanity do? Instead of charging out, trying to kill orc tribes again like they've been doing, instead of walking around like, yeah, it's time to wage war, they sat down for 5 whole years and didn't do a fucking thing. And when war came upon them, they were at first eager, but they were really dreading it. They didn't even make plans to take over Arien. They were just like, let's focus on just taking a little bit of dirt. Yeah, let's try to expand the amount of dirt that we own. That's it. Because Arien is fucking gone. That's a pipe dream, buddy. Just forget about it. That territory was such a fuckfest 5 years ago, we're not even touching it. That's why I like Arien. Besides that, I hope you guys like it too. See you guys next time and comment down below what you guys think. See you again.